Oh my goodness, the middle of August already. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. Look at all the turmeric growing with the occasional ginger put in there as well, and some propagating geraniums. Hi, it is Robbie from Southern California. Oh, Gary's been busy. I guess for his garden, he's picking up large rabbit pellets. No, it's llama manure. Somebody said they had buckets for him and he ran to get it. Oh my goodness. So what he's going to do now is just leave it here and then water it. See what happened to this one he had picked up? It collapsed and went all the way down. But I will tell you, I don't have a shovel right now. It's packed with earthworms and they're coming from the ground and they're gravitating underneath, because most of these, that one doesn't, but that one's open. These were barrels that he'd got years ago. Some he got from the trash, cut him in half. So he's got the top half, and then he's got the bottom half. And with the bottom, he put a bunch of holes. So he'll be bringing that to his garden. So let's see what's going on here. Oh, this is my favorite garden. I say that every month. I say that all the time. I love this garden. Look how big it is, and I have nothing to do but just grab the hose and then just spin around and water it in less than 5 minutes. I have got tomatoes growing. Look at this. Are these not beautiful? I love these. You know what's really nice about these? They grow true. At least here they do. If I take a tomato, squeeze it in the ground or in a tote, it grows and I get the same tomato. Where a lot of times they hybridize and they're not the same. Got cherry tomatoes still going strong. I've got celery in here protecting it, but there's also a strawberry plant in there from the elements of nature. And then look at the squash. Oh, I've got to get that off. Oh my goodness. Remember that one was chewed to nothing by the squirrel? Look at that now. Top is open so the bees can go down and do their thing. Then this one I just stuck here. You know, this was growing in the tote in the rainbow garden. And I thought, you know how I do the seeds? If you don't, well, there's a video on it, but I can talk about it another time. I had all these and they looked terrible. Like they weren't going to make it because I left them too long. I didn't know where or when to plant them. Stuck it in here, I guess 2.5 weeks ago, and it's making a comeback. Ooh, compost tea. Do I have any? Oh, I do. Oh, I see wigglers in there, I think. Let me see. Maybe, and if there is, I'll just dump it and start a whole new batch. Remember, don't get stressed out over wigglers and all that, because the mosquito larva, it becomes part of your compost tea. And they can't live out of water, not these. So just go ahead, feed the plants, and don't worry about it. Let me give the other one. I shouldn't do it on a garden tour because I've got so much to walk around and show you. I want to show you the bird garden and everything. Let me close this up. The cover's kind of broke. I think that's how mosquitoes get in. I'll come back later. I'll just give it all out today and start a whole new batch. That is what makes my garden grow, and that is free. Just like nature does it. How do all these plants that are not being watered or maintained grow? By nature. The leaves fall, they rot, and they feed the plants. Bingo. Doesn't cost me anything. And that's the way I do it. So everything in here is doing good. I've got a purple tree colored. Look at that. Again, I've been feeding it compost tea, so it exploded. The tomatoes are doing really good. Going to have to harvest that. Look at them. 2 tomatoes in there, and there's a pepper plant back there somewhere. Look at this one. Oh my goodness. I have been picking so many yellow squash. I kind of got tired of it. I should freeze a little bit. Just cut it up and then I'll have it. If I was going to want it in slices, like really thin slices, I may have to blanch it, but I don't bother with that. Because when you start cooking them like that, you lose a lot of nutrients. So I'm just going to slice it up and use it in the winter, whatever way. But I'll probably end up cooking them before I decide to freeze them. Beautiful. And then I've got another one here. Look at all the baby squash starting. Easiest garden to maintain. Easiest garden to take care of. Easiest garden to freshen up when you need to. In other words, it's all easy. It's on chairs that I set up here over 5 years ago now. It's going strong. None of the chairs broke. Once in a while, I might see a tote that looks tired. It's going to get cracky after about 3-4 years. $6. Change it out. Get rid of an old tote. And that's all there is to it when you need to do it. A tote costs you $6, let's say. And you can get them at the thrift store for $2. and you can grow a garden. You don't need to go buy a large raised bed for hundreds of dollars that you cannot refurbish the soil in easily. Unless you're a strong person who wants to dig the whole thing out, make sure it doesn't collapse. But otherwise, I can't do that. This is my garden of choice. I should set up like 10 of these. Get rid of everything else. No, that would be more work. Anyways, there's the truck bed. I've let it do its thing this year. So I've got celery growing and going to seed, so it's going to drop everywhere, and that's okay. I wanted the green celery. I got the green celery. Purslane, I've got that growing in here. See the red celery? This is a red. The stem is red. I don't like it, so I chopped it down. No seeds. Oh, look at that. I've got beautiful Swiss chard coming up just from its own seeds. I should gather that up. That's my favorite, is the Swiss chard, the green. I'm not crazy about the taste of the red, though it's still good, but I like the green. And then I've got the fig leaf gourd. I don't like them. I've tried using them at this stage, but now that I've got what I've got right now, the zucchini, I prefer that over that. So that's fine. I can actually cut that off now, slice it up and freeze it if I wanted to. I'll see. But that's what's going on there. And then I've got milkweed in there. I've got, these are marigolds. I think they're called pot marigolds. So I just kind of let it do its own thing, and it still looks nice. Planted in here for fun. Seeds have come up. See how yellow they are? See how bad they look? And they do look bad. I'll tell you why. This is pure wood chips, as you can see. Gary was chipping around the property. He left it here to decay down so he can use it later. I told him I'm going to plant in it. He said, go for it. And that's what happens. Because there's no nutrients that it needs. The nitrogen is being pulled as it's breaking down because it's pure wood chips. So what I did in the meantime is I grabbed a pot and I threw a plant in there. And that plant is going to take off. It's growing in the pot, big holes on the bottom, and then it can send its roots out. I have to keep it covered because the ravens and stuff have been coming in and tearing things apart. But I thought, let's see what happens. So it's in just a little bit of soil in the pot. If it makes it, it makes it. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I think those are tomato plants, the little ones coming up. So this is just for fun. And then I've got everything here. Oh, I wish I didn't have the raccoons. I really want to redo all this. But right now I'm going to leave it. I've got pomegranates all through there, which are absolutely beautiful. You saw that 2 weeks ago. Look how red they are. Geez, some of them might be ready to come off. I'm going to have to check those because look at that. When you pull them, there is a technique. They come off really easy when they're ready. So I'm going to leave them right now. You know, that's one thing the birds don't get unless they split. And then they've got the cannas, the aloe vera, and everything growing there. Then there's a water. The water comes down when it rains or morning dew. And because of that, those little seedlings grow in a row. And I take those little seedlings, which are cannas, and I transplant them. You can see them. They're right here. You know, in the next couple of days, I'm going to have to hike down and take you to Gary's garden. You want to see Gary's garden? I think you do. I just haven't been able to hike down there with my back because I had thrown it out. It was actually my hip. And I thought, no, wait. I think I'm getting ready to do that. See the seedlings? So the water just comes down from all the trees or any rain we don't have. And then it kind of, there's like a little, like we don't know where the underground creeks are or rivers. That's why I talk about layering all my plants in pots and things. Well, the water comes down and right in that line, that's where the seeds grow. And I can go grab those seedlings because they're just sitting and growing in the leaf matter from the plants. So that's what's going on here. There's more going on in other places. So we're just going to kind of walk through because there's not much here. My moringa. Oh, I'm going to have to show you my other one. See this one's so skimpy? I know what this needs. You'll see when we get to the bird garden. This is actually in a bucket. It's probably sent its roots out of the bucket. But see the bucket? The black one? Somebody gave me that. And it's growing in there. But I'm going to give it something special later on. You'll see in the bird garden. Tomatillos are just coming up. I still have a squash plant back here. Look at that. But these are all tomatillos. I didn't plant them. They come up on their own. Celery, all gone to seed. And then more zucchini. I've gotten so much zucchini, I don't even look at the zucchini anymore. If they flower and they make it, like this one flowered, hopefully it got pollinated by the bees because I haven't been hand pollinating. I've got so much in the freezer. tomato plants that should be cleaned up, more tomato plants. All these came up on their own and I left them. So I've got the yellow pear tomatoes there just on their own. The seeds fall, they grow true. And then I had some red tomatoes in there. And then on the bottom, I've got different things. Red bean sorrel, we've got walking onions, some in the ground. And a little mix of everything in there, a little bit of Swiss chard, tomatoes, walking onions, and this tote. This came up. I had plans on growing watermelon, but see how we're so overcast in the morning? This doesn't make any sense for into August. So I don't know if the watermelon would have done really good here or not. So I'm just leaving this. And I come through and I pick the yellow pear tomatoes out of here. I had a gladiola, but it's done. Here's another moringa. Oh, I know what I'm going to do with that. Take a good look at this, and we'll come back in 2 weeks if I get to it. And maybe this one will change up too, like the other ones. Tomatoes, hold on. Oh, no, no, no. These are my onions. I'm going to have to go through and get the rest of the onions out. I've got onions in there. I've got nasturtiums growing in the bucket. It's layering. That's what I do. And then tomatoes. But this is all onions. I'm going to have to pull them out. Actually, I'm going to make... See, I'm going to pull them out, come back later and get them. Look at that. Because I do want to make a cucumber salad tonight for dinner. Oh, look, a baby nasturtium. See that? So I'll take them out and come back and get them. And then I've got a beautiful celery. Look at that. I use that celery almost every day, whether it's a green drink or making a salmon salad or chicken salad. Just beautiful. I'm leaving that celery. Oh, I wish I had 10 more like that. Actually, I wouldn't use it, obviously, because I don't even use this one. And I should clean it up a little bit. Any of the branches I'm not using should come off and then compost them. But this is full of onions. So I want to come back and get that. This I haven't done yet. Oh, yeah, why haven't I done that? Because 3 weeks ago, I was working on it, and I think I lifted that tote. Now, there's not a whole lot in there, but probably too much. And when I lifted it, I probably cracked it. I lifted it, and I went to put it into the wheelbarrow, and that's when I pulled my back. So when I told the doctor I didn't do anything out of the ordinary. I work out here all the time, but it might have been the way I lifted it, maybe the way the wheelbarrow was, and maybe I twisted myself weird, but that was the tote I was working on. Now I felt it, and I'll keep walking, and I thought, it'll go away, but I stopped. And I went over to this section here and started working on my not upside down planters, my lifts, I don't even know what you call it. They're just kind of stands I make. And I worked on that instead. So as my back got worse, which it did, and then went into my hip because I was walking all day still working, and I was catering, and the way I was walking, I think I threw my left hip out after I hurt the right side of my back. Is this not beautiful? So we've got eggplant growing, which Gary's been using. He loves his eggplant, puts it on for breakfast on his tortillas. Then I've got the milkweed, the mint, that's orange mint, the Mexican sage, tomatoes coming up in there. That'll be really good for the winter if it grows. More milkweed through there. I've got flowers. You see it. There's everything. Malabar spinach is on the ground. That's going to grow all over. I should give it some place to grow like this one. Those are really cheap. You get them for a couple dollars at the hardware store, and I just bend them and hang them up there. And see how the Malabar spinach grows? I've got more. I should put that there. And then I've got... what else back here? This is just sow thistle for the birds. The hummingbirds use that to build a nest. I think they're almost done nesting right now. But it's like a cotton, and they line their nest. And then I've got turmeric, walking onions. It's just everything. Garlic chives. Oh, that should not be there. This is potato mint. You know, I might leave it for now. I mean, it doesn't mind the sun, but it should be in something bigger because it spreads and grows little potatoes underneath. It's in the mint family. I'll see. I forgot I put that there. I put it there a long time ago. So I've got all kinds of stuff here. My avocado tree. That could use a little bit of special drink too. More mint back there, more turmeric. Some of it might be the cannas because I stick those in here. Gary said they're going to get 6 feet tall, and I said, that's fine. I don't think this watermelon's doing anything. I'll have to keep an eye out and see if it makes it. The plant looks good. You know what? I need to give this one a feed. You never know. Sometimes I walk over and boom, there's a watermelon. All right, so we'll see what happens with that. So I've got the watermelon there. Then I've got milkweed. This is the native milkweed under here. And then more tomatoes coming up, purslane, more milkweed all through there. And then here I'm still working. So we've got the chairs, which you saw me plant up. See, the Malabar spinach wants to grow. I don't want it there. Actually, I've got a place for that. I will move that today in the rainbow garden. That little plant down there, little succulent thing, fell from the wall. I think I was here when it fell. Bang! I was like, what? So that's there. This one's not doing as good. This could probably use some feeding. And this one's doing really, really good. We get tons. Got one tomato back here. Got blossom end rot, but the rest of them are fine. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So we've got this one growing. So I finally did use these cars that I got from Circuit City. And then I've got the two different red bean sorrel and green sorrel there. This has worked out really good. These totes are going. I mean, they look lined up, but they're not. They're going. I don't want them here. I want this all clear. So if he wants to drive through, I'm working with that. Then this is just an open driveway. You can almost get 2 cars parked here. Gary says no. I say yes. But we'll see. It doesn't matter. I wish I could knock the wall or move it over and have it where you can have 2 cars here. But right now, no. And then this is just the plants we picked up from the nursery. Haven't had time to plant them all, but I'm working on it. Got an eggplant here. Those are those little melons, those cucumber melons, whatever they call them. And then he's got back here holy basil. So look at the eggplant growing in a pot. I think that's mine. So I'm gonna get that planted. I want to get a ton of lemon verbena growing. Let me straighten this out because that's for the birds in the garden. I even have a little bit over there. I had Gary put that stand there. It doesn't need a stand in the back by a trashy area. I could put it here and stick some plants there. And then this is the turmeric pieces that are growing in the dish pan. I had pieces left, and look at that. Remember, I showed you, I've got a video, you can grow the skins. You get the right part of the skin that you're not gonna eat, and then you plant it, and you can start more turmeric. So it's a win-win. You're not gonna eat it anyways. Peel it off. All right, let's go into the front yard real quick. And before we get to the front yard, I just went, what in the world? Oh, don't you dare lay eggs in there. I was going to pull this out, but they're starting to form heads. So I don't know what I'm going to do here because I really want this whole thing gone. These totes are old. They've been in the sun. And I like to get this out. And I can use the chair set up somewhere else. It's just a board and it holds, we found it in the trash. It's for like a bed. And it holds 3 totes, but I don't want this here. I want this driveway completely clear. So I'm working on it. Even the plant here, Gary wants me to compost it. I don't want to. This is another beautiful pomegranate tree that I grew from seed. So I'm going to find a place for that. And I'm going to shape this one. And then celery. I don't need this. It's just a matter of getting here. So I was a little slow for the past couple weeks, but I am getting a lot done. All right, now let's go into the front garden. So here's the front yard, which is the front garden, and it's wild. I want it wild. So I'm gonna have some red vein sorrel growing. I'm getting more milkweed in here going. I'm gonna get the brassicas doing their thing because they can just grow and I don't have to think about it. Look how beautiful and green this is. These are brassicas, use it for a green drink. When the leaves will get bigger as the weather cools, that's the way it grows. But look how old this is growing, so nice. And everything is layered. It's easier for me in a hot weather situation of growing where I know when I water those pots, those plants are getting water. If they're growing in the ground and I water a plant, I don't know if it's getting the water. The water may go down there, but run off that way. So that's why they grow so good. This is beautiful. Look how green these leaves are, and it's still so warm. Wow. Gorgeous plant. And then the yellow leaves, we don't need it. So we just put them back. Or I make this little container. You've seen me do that. I've been doing this for years. Put it in there. And then that's like a little compost bucket in there. And it will compost down into the soil. I still haven't gotten to that one yet. But isn't that cool? And I'm working on all this. And then look at the tomatoes in a dish pan loaded with tomatoes. So you can grow in these dish pans and they're cheap, easy to move around. The rest of it is just wild. I keep looking at this. I don't know what this is. It's got the tiniest flowers. Watch, it's an invasive weed that's going to take over my garden. No, I don't know what it is. I asked Gary, he didn't know. And I don't want to take it out because look how dainty it is. Tiniest little flowers, so cute. I've got a celery in here, more brassicas. So it's doing its own thing without me coming out here. I actually, I have to water it once in a while, but the point is, you can grow in here. I had a goal in the beginning of spring to get this all set up for you. I didn't, and I left it, so what am I growing? I'm still growing stuff even from last year. I've got the walking onions growing in here personally, and I can pick. This is just grass, and the birds chew on this. This is a grass seed. I've seen them out here doing it. So I leave it right now. I've got an empty one back there. Ooh, I can plant it. Okay, I have a carrot. Look at my carrot. I had carrots back here. That's the last one. It's gone to flower. So I think what I'll do is let it finish, collect the seeds, and replant it. All walking onions. Look at this. Beautiful. All from last year. And then there is the ginger and the turmeric. It's doing okay. It's not getting morning sun like it loves. That is an issue. It loves the sun when it first comes up, and then it doesn't like the late afternoon. So it's not getting enough morning sun. Otherwise, it would have been fuller. The turmeric, which is the larger leaf, is doing really good. But the ginger is struggling. So I've been thinking about moving it. See how this one gets more sun? Because it's sitting here. This is turmeric. You can even see it's bulging out from the top there. Well, when the sun drops down over the house, this is getting more sun, and those aren't. I'm thinking of moving some of them here. Maybe the ginger would do better here. I have to be careful because for some reason the squirrels don't go over there, but the squirrels come through here, probably more places to hide, and then they'll come on my table and they ate something. I don't remember what they ate, but it would be worth a try. I might move some of them. You know what? Let's go take a walk now into my favorite garden. They're all my favorite garden. Into the bird garden, which is right there behind the ginger and the turmeric. So this is the bird garden. It's getting there, starting to move things around, clearing things up. You can't tell, but I can. All the plants in here are doing good. What I do is I put a lot of pots. I love to layer, you know that. Look how beautiful the walking onions and everything's doing. These are propagated off of wild plants. Are they not cool? Problem is there's so many in there. I've got to get them out and put them in a big pot. Then I've been starting to move some of them over so I can keep dropping in plants here. It works. It's helping the broccoli, and it's something I can move around and for now look at as protected a little bit. Oh, a bunch of birds just left. Don't know what that was all about. So everything here is going good. Here's Zoe. All right, so these are the totes that are about 9 years old, and they're going strong. Now the sun is starting to move. And as the sun comes this way, some of the wool here is starting to get sun because we're going to go into fall in another month. So I have to watch the plants. I've noticed this getting spindly. Needs a good cutback. This is pineapple sage. That's orange mint. And I'll have to keep an eye on it, and I should do some cuttings off of that. Here are all the cuttings I did off my blanket flower. Look, they're flowering over and over. See all the new flowers coming up there? And then this one. So I sit them out here. I found out they really need sun. If you don't give them sun, they don't grow. And then this is, we'll have to get into how to propagate it, because I will say, I worked with them for a while and then figured out the best way to do it, and it works really good. This is the one that a bird pooped in the yard. I'll show you the mother plant. And it showed up a couple years ago, and it started flowering immediately. This has got to be cut off. This is the seed head, and it's inside there. There's one petal left. But I don't even try to grow from seed. The blanket flower just seems to be too hard from seed. But once you get into cutting it and doing transplants that way, it's wonderful. Emu bush, geranium, this is nothing. This is just sitting there. Actually, it's growing. I'm not even sure what I stuck in here. Might have been a piece of that. Anyways, going on, chocolate mint, garlic chives, red vein sorrel. I had to move my mushroom plant. See how bad it looks? It was sitting in there on that pot, and I realized the sun is getting to it now, and it doesn't like a lot of sun. So that's been moved there. But that's what's going on here. This is starting to become a lot. Last night, I came out here before the sun went down. I said to Gary, you didn't feed the spice finches and all the birds. And he said, oh, I just put food out. There was nothing out. So I came out and I fed him. He had to come back again. There were hundreds here. And you can't see them because they're so tiny, but the avocado tree in the back is full. And this is nothing compared to what we have. Let me step back. You really can't see them. They're moving around in the avocado tree. There's a tree there. It doesn't really throw any fruit. It's an old tree, but I think it's coming up from the rootstock, so the fruit are really small and black. We don't eat those. But it's a nice tree. I don't want to take it down because, as you can see, the birds come, and the birds enjoy having someplace to dart into. So what I figured out last night is wherever they were getting a food source, because you'd see like 50 go that way and 50 go that way, and they would take off, their food source must be down. So now they're all coming here from all over, and they're really going through a lot. Oh my goodness, I wish you could see this. I don't think I can zoom in, but there's an oriole way in the back eating. Oh, he just left. He was eating a fig. Some of the figs are starting to ripen. I better pick out the ones I want and tool them, or I won't get any figs. So I'm getting to it. I've been kind of working all over. I need to fix up all my fountains. As you can see, I've now cut a path through here. 2 weeks ago, this was a jungle. You couldn't even get there. Now I can walk all the way around. There's still some stuff back there I want to move, just some pots and stuff that don't have anything in it. There's even a great tote back there, one of those heavy duty ones, a big black one. I want to move that. And then these are a lot of my geraniums that I've moved here, the Martha Washington type, as well as continue to propagate. This I want to move. I don't like it here, so it's not going. I'm not sure where to put it yet. And I still have the ball fountain that I picked up for my birthday. Whoa, a while ago. Here comes a whole bunch more spice finches. They just keep coming in. Oh my goodness. And I want to set that up where I can see it, because I've got the ball fountain back there and it's hidden. You can't see it anymore. So by everything overgrown. So I'm going to take it down. I don't want to take too much down that has a lot of flowers, because the hummingbirds are feeding off of it. That's a sweet pea plant that I've had for a while. Look at that. I bought that over a year ago. I can't remember the name of it. I brought it here. It's in a pot and it's flowering beautiful. It's kind of hidden here. I want to paint this. Oh, these clothes racks for like $10. You can hang hummingbird feeders off of it, bird feeders, plants, paint it up, put it in the house. You can do hanging house plants, everything. So I moved it. It was over there, moved it here, and I put it in my way, so I will remember to get the little paintbrush out and just paint it. And then I've got to get that fountain back there, a battery. I cleaned up really nice. Some of the fountains aren't going because they're on solar, and as you can see, we're overcast every morning. Here's another little propagated blanket flower, using it as a layer for this plant I planted. This is the lemon verbena. Some mint that's starting to take off that I put in there. And that's what's going on. This is just a wild garden. See, I want to get in here and start trimming, so you can't even see my ball. So I've got to trim that so we can see the ball and that fountain. Gary said he'll raise it for me. And that is something I'm thinking about. It's on bricks. So if he puts, let's say, 4 bricks and raises it 2 bricks high, those cement blocks, I'd be able to see the ball and get it up higher. So we're probably going to do that fairly soon. The zinnias keep coming up because I take the seeds and I throw them. Look. I've never grown so many flowers. If you've watched me for years, what have I been on now? 7 years. Not seriously 7 years, but I've been on around that long. I never had flowers, right, Zoe? Zoe. We never had flowers, did we? Oh, she's too busy. She's doing her thing. Then I've got the fountain. I fixed that one. Again, solar. They're not running right now. This is all propagated Hummingbird's lunch, which it is a kufia. It's just some company named it Hummingbird's lunch. And the bees like it to a point. They kind of have a hard time getting in. Because of the tubular flowers, what I have seen are some of the bees make a little hole at the base. Whoa. And they get in there and then they get the nectar that way. But the hummingbirds love it. Got some milkweed back there. Mexican sage. This is another type of, no, I don't remember. I think it is a type of emu bush, but I'm not 100% sure. It's a different one, see? Something he picked up. Is there a tag? No. And let's see, let's keep going. Another one that I propagated. See, this has to be cut off. Actually, this is big enough to propagate off of. Beautiful flowers. And what's fascinating is I bought one flower, a whole new one from Home Depot one day. I think it was Home Depot. It could have been Lowe's, one of those. And they grow different. This one grows tall and, you know, kind of spindly. Oh, I didn't show you the mother plant. We'll go back in a second. I'll walk over there. And the one I bought is short and fat and bushy. So I don't know if it's the breeding on it, you know, the way they grew it, but it is different. See how this one grows wild? It's more like a wildflower. And so this is one I've been propagating off of. Then this is one I propagated recently. This is a Hummingbird's lunch. Here's another one I propagated from. See, it's in its own pot. It's in here with a Hummingbird's lunch. So eventually that will need a big pot. And this is still in the original floral pot back there that I found it in back there. It was growing and I looked at it. I knew it wasn't a weed. And I thought, what is this? Because it was only, you know, a little tiny bushy green thing because I'd never seen these leaves before. That's what it turned out to be. All right, let's keep going down here. This is where I'm working. I really need to clean this up. Got my lettuce started again. So my worm farm is gone. Remember last month, 2 weeks ago, I think I showed you, I found out that I had locked in some worms by leaving my lettuce sitting out. The worms were already on there, or the eggs. I closed it up and boom, everything was eaten. So they're coming back, some of them. And then I'm propagating in there as well. But I really have to get serious. This isn't serious. Look at my fuchsia. Beautiful, beautiful. Bought that over a year ago and it's doing really good. It doesn't like a lot of sun. And this is all more plants that I'm propagating. They're done already. I mean, they're rooted and everything. And here's more in here. You already saw that one. So that's basically it. Like I said, I got to clean this up. I've been trying to get the main garden done and get more food planted. We're now in August, of course, because it's in the middle. And we've got months still to grow, but it depends on what I want to grow. So I can't really start a lot of new things like watermelon. Might be able to start a little bit of zucchini. We'll see. But the main thing is I want to start getting cabbage, all the brassicas. Cabbage, collard, you know, broccoli, all that we can start and grow now because you're not under snow yet. Believe you me, you still have a lot of heat. And we won't have any of the cold weather maybe until November or December. So that's going to work out really good for all of us. So we can get a lot of the plants that like cold weather. That doesn't mean they want to grow in cold weather. You can't start seedlings outside in cold weather. You can start it now because it's warm. And then when they get big, they love the cold weather. You get the nicest, most beautiful leaves off of these plants to eat in the cooler weather. Look, this is all brassicas, all layered in containers, buckets, pots, all different brassicas, some that are more purple, as you can see back there, this purple stalk. It's just mixed up brassicas. And they're all growing in there. And then if I don't like them, I can pull them out and just keep going with other things. Look at all the baby brassicas down there. Got an eggplant trying to struggle back there. And this is beautiful. This came up from seed. Look at that. But when the weather gets cold, these things are going to flourish. And we're going to have greens to eat all winter long. So that's what I'm kind of getting ready to do. Kind of think about all these geraniums that are growing. Maybe trim some back. The 4 o'clocks, I don't need that many. But I've got them, a lot of them, I should say, are contained now. They're in flower pots. So I can keep track of them. Oh, because I don't want them all over. Gary says they blow seeds everywhere and then you can't get rid of them. The red back there are cannas that Gary planted and they can get like 6 feet tall. I'm pretty sure you can just barely make it through the fence. And this is garlic chives and they're throwing flowers and the bees are on them right now. And the hummingbirds, look at that. See, let's see if we can zoom in for a minute. Okay, he left already. So with the cannas there and then other flowers, the hummingbirds and the 4 o'clocks, the hummingbirds just love it in the garden. It's just great for all the birds. Zoe, do not eat anything out here. Don't trust you. You know, I just saw this. I didn't notice this. I've been picking and cutting leaves back. Look. Oh my gosh. You know, I decided the other day to pull this plant out. That is funny. I planted that last year. It died back. I cut it back. It grew back. That is the traveler's tomato. I honestly didn't see that. I come out here a lot in the evening and work. I work down there trying to straighten it out and get ready for the birds. I wish I could walk over there and show you the birds. There are hundreds of spice finches back there right now. We just walked away and they all came in. I'll walk over and you're going to see them fly away. So keep looking. And then we'll finish up in the... See? This is not a joke. This is actually becoming frightening. Here they come. They're coming back. They come in by the hundreds. That's a house finch. That's in red over there. Oh my goodness. That's not a good sign. That's a bunch of doves coming in. But I haven't seen too many doves. Let's see if we can sneak in over here. We could stand here all day. This is not a joke. So what else is going on? We've walked through here. We found my traveler tomato. I don't know how I didn't see that. I want to get those off today. That is absolutely fun. And I guess I won't pull that plant out. It made it all through the winter. I'll put something else in there. I'll layer and put some flowers in there. I looked over and I thought, what is red? Are they beautiful? There's 2 of them. Didn't even know they were here. This is what's crazy. It's so big and I'm always looking at different things like what pots I'm going to change, what I'm going to do. And I don't know why I didn't see them. I got to show Gary later. So I've got, let's see, we looked at the brassicas here. We looked at the garlic chives. Then we've got all this. This is just fabulous that we're going to, or I'm going to be propagating all through here. I think Gary might take a few. He wants to make a lot of compost tea. So you would strip a lot of the leaves off. I could cut it and plant it. Needs a lot of care at this size, but I have done it. In fact, the mother plant of this that was planted in this tote, see the stem is still there? It went from there in there, it broke. So this now rooted in the ground. It was the same thing. I had a big plant that was 15 foot tall here. Started to die off. I took one of the branches or parts of it that was dying off, stuck it in there in a pot. Has to be a pot. And it grew inside the tote, a pot in a tote. All these are in pots. The garlic chives are in pots. I've got some stuff in there in pots. And then the tomatoes. Oh my goodness. We have gotten hundreds of tomatoes off of this. Remember, I bought this a couple years ago, about 2-3 years ago. Planted up tomatoes. The first year I did 3 tomatoes in there, 3 different types. Too many. So this year I did the layering like I always do. I'm telling you, it works for me even in the hottest weather. Look, it's been full sun all day. There's a pot in there and a pot in there. Everything is done in layers. There's a reason for it. I'll do a full video on why I do layers. But I had a cherry tomato in one and a sun gold in the other. The middle pot that you can barely see in there was nothing. I did put some forget-me-nots. See the blue ones? Because I found them on the ground and I stuck them in there. They were growing wild. But the middle one was just for water. So when I watered all that, everything got good and wet. And look at this. Now I have picked, and I've got bags of cherry tomatoes already in the freezer. And that is fine. Because freezing food preserves all your vitamins completely. Canning food from the grocery store that's been irradiated are missing your vitamin C and a lot of your other vitamins. But freezing it preserves it. And we've got generators. If something happens and something goes out, we've got manual ones that you can wheel around. We can always pick a freezer or refrigerator to run until they fix it. Normally, we don't lose electricity up here. Not for any length of time. I shouldn't say that. We have lost a lot of electricity, but for hours. One time, just once, a couple years ago, I think it was 2 days, we didn't have electricity. And we were fine. The freezer was so packed that nothing thawed. We didn't open it. We left it. We have also ice blocks in there, just there all the time. Kept the freezer nice and cold. Everything was fine. So we didn't lose anything. It's about 1.5 to 2 days. So it worked out really good. But I'm going to take all this off. And I've showed you so many times and told you how I do it. It's the easiest thing. I will clip them off. Like this one's got a green one. I may just forfeit the green one. Clip these all off. And at night, I will go through, de-stem them, wash them, dry them, put them on a tray the way I do it in the freezer. And once they're frozen, in a matter of hours, they're bagged up. And I've got tomatoes all I want until next year. So it's going to work out really good. And then I'll get more different types of brassicas back there. because we want to get the brassicas growing now, because that's what's going to grow all winter long. I don't know what she's looking at. Look at this. She's always on the hunt. What do you see back there? Something I should know about? You know what? As long as it's on the other side and I'm here, we're good. I hear the birds. Oh my goodness. They're screaming in all the trees. I wonder, let me see if we can zoom in for a second. I don't know if you can zoom in this much. This is what's scary. Gary just told me he's got to go get quite a few 100 pounds more seed. Now the reason I make those cages up is any hawks coming by, they can't bother them. So that's very unnatural. I know, it's like, you love nature. No, nature can go find its own bird food somewhere else. These birds can come eat here. I'm not feeding the hawks my birds. And that's basically it, what's going on here. The papayas, I don't know. I thought this year I started to think I was going to lose them, and now it's packed. I'm also feeding them my compost tea. I didn't talk about that. So I started making compost tea again and getting serious. And I've been watering a lot of my plants with it, especially out there in the dog kennel and different places, the vegetable plants that really need it. And some of the flowers. Literally giving this stuff out, it will burst into flowers in a matter of days. What I've been doing is I started giving it to this poor tree. I actually thought this tree, moringa, was going to have to come out. If you look 2 weeks ago, it was nothing but a stick. It wasn't growing anything. I couldn't harvest any leaves off for a green drink. There were no leaves to harvest. So days ago, I started loading in the compost tea as I was giving the compost tea out to the hummingbirds lunch here. That's in a pot that I propagated. And then this is my purple. Look how green it is now. My purple brassica. It's normally really purple, but it was terrible. The new growth looked bad. The leaves were really bad. I started feeding those two, and I thought, oh, I'll throw a little bit on here. So I started throwing there, the compost tea. And I noticed yesterday, oh my goodness, all the new growth. This is all new. It's just growing like overnight. Look at this. This tree's going to make a comeback. So I've got ideas on how to give this tree all that it needs. I will load up the pots around it. It can't be changed into a pot. Leaving it, absolutely. You can't pull it out. I'm going to put more pots around it. And then I'm going to start feeding it heavy compost tea. And as soon as I see any mosquito larvae in there, whatever's left, I'll just dump it on the tree. Mosquito larva, compost tea, it's going to feed that tree. Wonderful. And this is really good for my green drinks. I usually grab quite a few leaves off of it when I have them, and then I just put it in the blender with everything else. It's got so much vitamins, nutrition, it's unreal. Then I've got the mint, the chocolate mint. That was the soil I had bought years ago that was toxic. It took over 2 years to be able to grow in it, and then the mint started to grow. I kept throwing things in there. So you got to be careful. Sometimes it's not you that's having problems, but you could buy a cheap soil, and if it's got persistent herbicides in there, some of them can take 6 months to break down. Some can take years. This one took years. I got mint on the bottom there. I've got more mint there. Look at the flowers. The bees love the flowers, and even the hummingbirds pick around, and more mint there. All free soil. And that's the same thing here. All these tomatoes I grew, everything was free, completely free. You saw me fill it, took the soil out. I used the soil for so many other pots and things I was planting. And then I filled those pots up, planted my 2 little tomato plants in there, and then loaded the whole inside. You have to watch the video what I did. And all these tomatoes, the hundreds and hundreds of tomatoes I'm pulling off here were free. Okay. So the water cost me, but that was it. But I don't even use as much water in the method in which I plant with the layering of pots. I think we're done in here, and I think we can go outside. I don't know where she is. Let's go outside. I don't want her running out the gate. She's going to come running. She doesn't hear me. I don't know where she is. She's probably in the, oh, here she comes. No, you can't come out here yet. Sorry. Got my hose there. Oh, I didn't show you my hose. I'll go back and show you my hose, or I can tell you about it and drop it in here. I bought another hose that's drinking water safe, and it doesn't kink. And let me tell you something, it doesn't kink. So I'm going to have two different hoses here. I'm going to have hoses for this summer, which will be that one because it gives me a much more water flow coming out of it. And then I'm going to have my metal hose because it also doesn't kink, but the water flow is less, and that will be more for when the weather cools. So it's going to be perfect. Got my potatoes coming up in here. This is Gary's project. Not much going on here. Let's see. I did do this. Same effect of how I do it, layering. Got a whole video on that. And so that will grow all fall and maybe into winter. I can shelter it with the house later, but we'll see. And then I've got all the totes here. A tomato came up in the back. I think I shoved it in there. So we'll see how that goes. Hummingbirds lunch, more peppers back there. I got peppers, but those are old peppers. I want to get newer peppers there. Pepinos in my bucket here. I'm going to redo all this, and I'm actually going to do it in layering, even though I've got peppers. See, it's been hot sometimes, so they get burnt by the sun. I got to get those off. He should make that for breakfast. And then I've got my pizza garden, which is now turning into a full herb garden, which is good. So I've got the basil, which is unreal, that lasted all through the winter. I didn't have to buy any basil this year. I bought some purple, but it didn't do well. It's fizzled out. So I don't know. I even did cuttings off of it, and the cuttings wouldn't root. This thing rooted. Got a whole bunch rooted on the kitchen window. I'm going to plant it, maybe leave it in for the winter. I'll see, for the fall. And then this is mint, and then here's some turmeric skins coming up. Isn't that cool? I've got, let's see, I've got oregano, I've got sage, rosemary, and then my thyme, which is still perfect for pizza. But I've got the room here, so why not get more things growing in here? And these are these planters. I make them. They're stands. It works really good. See, I got some stands. Do I have stands there? No, I moved them around. And that's why I like my stands, because I can move them. Just working here with right now all the butterflies. Every time I go to pull something out, there are caterpillars everywhere. So I'm slowly thinking about where I'm going to get these out and moved. I'm going to take a lot of the milkweed out. Some of it will be cut down. You're supposed to cut it down and let it refresh and grow back. It's even growing in the buckets on the bottom. I don't want to throw them away or compost them because people are looking for them. I had to give my neighbor a bunch because they had caterpillars and stuff. So I just keep giving it. Somebody needs, I've got them in a pot. Take the pot home. Have fun. It's yours. So I want to get them out. I kind of lost this for planting this spring and summer because I didn't get to it, but I'm still growing pepinos. You see the pepino on the bottom there. Had that in our rice dish the other day. So I come out here, pick pepinos and tomatoes and all the different greens and whatever I've got. Just forage through, walking onions. Clear that tote out. I'm going to plant something else in there. Maybe it's got a good cover. Well, hello. Is that cute? This rabbit follows me around since it was a baby. How are you doing this morning? You don't want me to go that way, do you? What are you eating? Just don't eat my potatoes. Actually, he's been really good. I'm not sure what he's eating. Leave something out for your wildlife that you find that they're eating. So if you've got a whole garden and you find, oh my gosh, they're eating this plant. I don't want them to eat this plant. But let's say you've got a whole bunch, like this is all potato mint. Then leave one for them and cover the others. If you leave them something, then they really don't bother everything else, especially rabbits. They're so polite. I find them very nice creatures. I'm crazy about them. So all through here is where I had a lot of zucchini. And this one I emptied. So I think with the good cover here, I think I'm going to put cabbage in there. I'll get some green cabbage going, maybe even Brussels sprouts I could do. And then this is in a pot. It can be moved. It's pretty much done. This is the forget-me-not, the Chinese forget-me-not. Wild. They came up. They're beautiful. I move them everywhere. Then I've got the kennel there, which is mainly right now lettuce growing and some plants that I'm starting in there. That's what's in the smaller. It's not a small kennel. It's an 8-foot. It's wonderful. That's how they come, and it works perfect. And then in here, I've got to do a whole video on this because I've got things that I'm learning as I go, and there will be changes. Absolutely, because I've learned a lot with this weather. Look at this. This doesn't burn off until 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock. You never know when. So sometimes at 10 o'clock we get sun here, and then sometimes not till 12. Then it gets hot. But this has been every morning, which is very unusual. They used to call it, well, they called it May gray, June gloom. Now we're in August. I don't know what they call it for July. 4th of July clouds, I don't know. And now we're in August and we still get it. But in here, this has been wonderful. Look at this. I harvested a whole bowl of lettuce yesterday. Left a little bit of this, look, in a food container. Now lettuce, we talked about growing in clear containers if you're having a problem. Lettuce doesn't seem to mind, though I did leave the wrapper on. And I've got all this watermelon starting. Now, I don't know how much watermelon I'll get, but I've got all these, this is a little milkweed. I should use that for layering. Some of the plants are doing okay and some are not. Well, you know, it's nature, even in nature. Look at this, full of peppers. Peppers were doing really good. And these are sweet peppers. So we can just, when I say sweet, they're not sweet, but they're not hot. So they have a real peppery taste, like a bell pepper. You can put them in anything. Then I've got a cucumber plant that's taken off somewhere. I don't even know where it's going. I'm not even sure where it's coming from. Where did it go? Oh, no, we don't want it doing that. No. Oh, and you've already wrapped around. Hold on. We're going to pull you out because we don't want you going that direction, and we'll deal with you later. I'll string it up here. So I'm going to take this hook temporarily and guide it. Let's see, I want it a little further up. Let's guide it up here. Now, hopefully, it'll start finding its way. That's just temporary. Then I've got some watermelon plants here that came up. I've been pushing seeds around, little plants. So a lot of this, nothing yet. This is just starting to flower. I had a lot of squash off of that. There were 2 plants in there. It was a mistake. I stuck them in there because they looked like they were dying. Just 2 squash plants. They did really good. I ended it with squash. One fizzled out because I left it on too long, got too big. That's okay. The other one is actually making a comeback. See, we get powdery mildew because of the weather. I've got peas down there. We are too warm for peas, but I had that in my hands, some seeds. So I went ahead and put them in there. And then this is, this is a butternut squash. So I want to get this. I don't know why, but it wants to go this way. And I want it to go this way. So we're going to see what we can do with that. I could bring, if I can bring it up, then it can go that way. Tomatoes, I've been picking these tomatoes. These are really nice. They're large cherry tomatoes. Came up in the ground on its own. You can see the roots down there. Oh, I see a pepper fell off. Hold on. Oh my goodness, let's get the pepper. It doesn't matter if it's green. I'll throw it in there. I can use it later. Came off of this plant. And then this one fizzled out. I'll probably take this one out. And then I've got cucumbers through here. And a watermelon. Got this one. It's still a ways to go, but that one's ready. The tendril on the back, we can't see it. It turned brown about a week and a half ago. A lot of you pick it as soon as it's ready, but I have found that if I leave it right there, because it's still, even though the tendril's brown, and it may not be getting that much from the mother. See, this is still green. When I leave them on there, when I pick them 2 weeks later, they're sweet like sugar. Oh, there's another cucumber. Cool. I just picked a bunch. I've been picking. When I see them, I pick them. I try to get them before they're too big. And sometimes I forget. Here's another one here. So those little hoverflies come in, or I go through with a little brush. I've been doing both. So I try to hand pollinate. Got more up here. But this has worked out really good. But I am going to change things up. It didn't turn out exactly the way I was thinking. And it wasn't really, well, it's always my fault, right? The weather's been different. So I'm going to change things up. Am I going to change the structure on everything on the inside? No. Let me step out for a minute. No. This worked out perfect. I like the path. I would like to grow something on top, but I don't want to create too much shade. So I'm going to think about it. I'll tell you how I do it. But for I don't want to say next year. Nothing's next year. I'm working on it now. When this is all done, like the cucumbers are done and the weather changes because the cucumbers need really hot weather, then I'm going to change up when I start planning what's going to go in there. It's going to be a mix of things. I think I'm going to put a whole thing of lettuce in there. I never covered it with tulle because I don't have that many problems that I need to yet. If I need to, I can have the whole thing covered in less than an hour with tulle. you know, because he doesn't want to be bothered. Look at that poor rabbit. This has really protected a lot of plants right now. It's protecting my beautiful flowers. But I've got, in here, I've got a squash growing. I've been picking squash. I've got Malabar spinach, as you can see, purslane growing. All that goes in my green drink. See the Malabar spinach? And then this is pepinos. I think there may not be because I've been picking and putting them in our rice dishes that I make. And then this one was really, but look, new growth. You want to know why? I looked at this the other day and I thought, oh boy, I'm not going to get any more zucchini off of this because it's so bad, the powdery mildew. So I started dumping the compost tea on that. Look at that. All new growth. Okay, I'm going to clean that up with the flowers. I just have so many seeds. I have to quit this. I walk around and I take the seed heads off and just sprinkle them around. So we'll see how many we'll make it there. And then same thing here, compost tea. So now it's reflowering. Compost tea is really big. See, there's my watermelon over there. You can see this is making soil. We have talked about how to make soil. So you have soil all year round. And then, like I said, there's not much going on in here. I just started a bunch of lettuce and different cuttings. I moved this in here because I think the deer rabbit, actually it wasn't a rabbit, the squirrel started eating this. So I wanted it to make a comeback. The rabbit did not eat this. We can't blame my poor rabbit. So this will make a comeback fine. The plant is okay, but I saw it on camera. It was a squirrel. And then I've got the lettuce growing in here. And even though there is no tool on here, I don't get too many bugs. And so I can grow my lettuce in here and then transplant them into milk cartons, small flower pots, whatever you've got. Don't throw your food containers away if you want to grow lettuce, because you can have all the free lettuce you want. Look at that. Is this not cool? Lettuce down there. I've even got a turmeric here. But look at that. So you can grow a whole lot. Okay, I think we're done here. Let's see, where are we going to go now? This is ball potatoes, and they're flowering. Look at that. Some people take the flowers off, and I have done it both ways. I don't know if it really hinders the potatoes from growing or not. I've had flowers, and then I still have potatoes, so I'm going to leave some and take some off. We'll see what happens. I don't think it makes a difference. But all these buckets are potatoes, and that I have to be careful with. Sometimes a rabbit eats them, and then when they kind of fizzle out, then you just dump them. That's why I love doing buckets. You dump it, and you don't have to be digging in the ground, breaking up potatoes. Did any get away? I know they're not going to get away. Here's a pepino. Oh, they're all over. There's a small pepino there. There's another one there. This is an old plant. And then these are the flowers starting. They haven't opened yet, but they're going to open. There's another pepino there. There's a new pepino there with a flower next to it. So I have a lot of pepinos. This is tomatillos. This was funny. Oh, you know, I bet you those are flowers on the bottom. I was waiting for the potato to come up. I think I told you this story 2 weeks ago. And I thought, no, my potato's not coming up. And then I realized I brought this bucket over here with soil I had collected from other totes. And there was no potato in there. And then this came up because they come up everywhere because we grow them and I throw them everywhere, the tomatillos. And I realized there was no potatoes. So now I'm going to get tomatillos. So it worked out even better. Milkweed and zinnias. Just take your seed head. See with this? This is the seed head. And I do this and I grab it. I should do it in there. Oh, I'm going to do it in there next time. I'm going to put some more. Oh, I've got geraniums in that one. I'll put some just stuff from the bottom and then I'll grow it there. Do I want zinnias in my potato mint? Some make it, some don't. It's not like I'm trying to grow them. I just grow them. All right, so we've seen everything here. And I think that's basically it. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please tell me what you think. It's coming along. Some of you know I hurt my back for 3 weeks. It went from my back to my hip. And I don't mind pain. I can walk around with pain, but it literally was like I'd go down. It was like really bad, but they didn't find anything wrong. They said a bad muscle sprain. It's pretty much gone. I can still feel it, but I am really working on here. So I hope you enjoyed this. Leave your comments. I do read them, and sometimes it really does, a lot of them make me think of a new video to do. Like, oh, they're having problems in that. I know how to fix that, or I know what I do for that. And then sometimes you give me ideas. So with that, have a wonderful day. And don't forget to eat what you grow. I'm going to go find Zoe, and I'm going to go get breakfast. Bye-bye, everybody. It really does look pretty, even though it hasn't been done. It's natural. A wild garden brings in nature. A groomed garden brings in food. And flowers. What do I want? A groomed garden or a nature garden? I want both. 253 tomatoes. Not bad. But I think I gotta come back tomorrow because I can't get the other half yet. Yeah, I'll take the tool down and finish in the morning.